Hello class 11s. I think we've done up till here, so let's start with transformation of work. Let's not waste much time because I cannot hold my phone for a long time in this way. It hurts. So maybe like from next time I'll start with PowerPoint only. So let's start. Industrial processes were broken down into simple operation that could be precisely timed, organized and monitored. Mass production demands mass markets. Like I told you earlier regarding division of labor in the last video, where work was divided among the employees or the workers, so that the work can be specialized and done faster. As in the industrial society, there is a lot of demand, and if one individual does the entire work, it's going to take a lot of time. So we don't want that. So work is divided. And then suppose I give you an example of making a shoe, I guess, where there is a division of labor, there's a division of work in the process of making a shoe, where some of them make the laces, some make the sole, some design the shoe. Yeah, so that way the work is divided. And then there is decentralization of work, where the authority gives like work to different, let's say, superior gives work to the subordinate, let's say that way. Okay, so it is argued that in this period of globalization there is a growing competition between firms and countries that make it essential for firms to organize production suiting the changing market. So in the present era, in the period of globalization, it is very important for the industries to meet the demand of the consumers and to produce according to what the consumer requires. Like you see in market, like if one certain commodity is on high demand, in the first phase you may not get it, but slowly eventually you get it in a large scale. Okay, everybody is having it, everybody's buying it. So that is because the firm, they slowly realize what the consumer wants and they begin to produce it, and there's no looking back, they just keep producing it. Okay, so that's it. There's nothing important here, sorry. So please, you go through it. If you have any problem, you can ask me. So let's go to politics. So what is politics? Politics, in very simple words, is power. Political institutions are concerned with distribution of power in the society. So power in the society is distributed. Everyone in the society cannot have power. Okay, some will be the leaders, some have power, they lead, and the others will follow. So power is distributed. So power is the ability of individuals or groups to carry out their will even when opposed by others. So even if, like, suppose I have power over, okay, so let's say I have power over you people, okay, and I tell you all, and I'm teaching you all for like 2 hours straight, and then I tell you that I'm gonna take class for 1 more hour. That is opposed to your will, and you don't want that, but still, because I have power, then you will be like forced to, just be okay with it. So power is the ability of individuals or group to carry out their will even when opposed by others. It implies that those who hold power do it at the cost of others. So if you people are not there, then my power, it has no meaning, right? So power can only function in relation to like other people. An individual or group does not hold power in isolation. I cannot hold like power in isolation. If you people are not there, then my power will be of no use. Okay, so the notion of power is fairly inclusive and extends from family elders assigning domestic duties, like my parents asking me to do something because they are in power and they have control over me, or they have power over me, let's say. That's why they assign certain duties and I'm supposed to do it. Principals enforce discipline in school because principals have power over the school, over all the members of the school and such. Okay, president exercises power over the citizens. So that's it. That is power. Authority is that form of power which is accepted as legitimate that is as right and just. It is institutionalized because it is based on legitimacy. So authority is a power which is legit, okay? So it is accepted as something which is right and which is fair, and people in general accept the power of those in authority as they consider their control to be fair and justified. So my parents ask me not to, like, if they tell me not to go out uh, after the sun sets, okay, during the dark, so I will have to accept them because I feel that they have authority, and and what they're saying is right and just, and their control is fair. So I'm like, okay, so that's authority because they have power, and authority is legit. So stateless society is nothing. Concept of state, okay? So a state exists where there is political apparatus of government. Like state exists where there are institutions like parliament and congress in the society or in the state. That is where state exists. Common authority is backed by a legal system and by the capacity to use military force to implement its politics. So the government has a legal system, you know that, right? They are backed by law and everything, which is, like, in the law book or in the book of constitution, is all done by the government. The functionalist perspective sees the state as representing the interest of all sections of society. So we've studied many things about this functionalist and conflict, right? So regarding the state, they see state as something which represents all the interests and needs of the all sections of the society, whereas the conflict perspective sees the state as representing the dominant sections of the society. The conflict perspective feels that the state represents only those who are in power. Modern states are very different from traditional states. These states are defined by sovereignty, citizenship, and most often ideas of nationalism. So modern state, in the traditional state there was no like law and order, okay, official law and order, but in the modern state there is. It is guided by such, you know let's say, such rules, not rules also, such things such as sovereign, such issues, or what do I call it, whatever, such things such as sovereignty, citizenship, and nationalism. So such kind of things are there in the modern day state. So citizenship includes civil rights, political and social rights. Civil rights include the freedom of individuals to live where they choose, freedom of speech and religion, the right to own property, and the right to equal justice before the law. So citizenship, we have citizenship in our country. So this exists in a modern day society, and citizenship basically means our rights of being a member of a country, of a state, and then the right to live where you want to live, and your freedom of speech and religion, the right to own property, and the right to equal justice before the law. Political rights include the right to participate in elections and to stand for public office. In most countries, governments were reluctant to admit the principle of universal franchising. In the early years, not only women but large section of male population was excluded. Certain amount of property was an eligibility criteria. Women had to wait longer for vote. Women did not get voting rights since, men had already got voting rights, but women still had to fight for it. So political rights basically means the right to vote, the right to stand up for elections, okay? Such are political rights. And the third type of citizenship are social rights. These concern the prerogative of every individual to enjoy a certain minimum standard of economic welfare and security. So being a citizen of the country, you have social rights like right to health benefits, and then maybe education also, free education, unemployment allowance. If you're unemployed, you get some amount of cash to help yourself, okay? So such are social rights of individuals. And then there is nationalism. Nationalism can be defined, oh my god, just hold on. Ow. Nationalism can be defined as a set of symbols and beliefs providing the sense of being a part of single political community. Thus, individuals feel a sense of pride and belonging. So basically, nationalism is we feeling, like feeling of togetherness in the country, feeling of loyalty towards your own country. Sociology has been interested in the broader study of power, not just formal apparatus of the government. So sociology just not studies, the government office, parliament, congress, civil offices, political parties. That's not just the scope of sociology. It studies power in a very micro level. Okay, like it studies distribution of power between parties, how power is distributed among different members of a political party, between classes, between caste, between communities based on race, language, religion. Its focus is not just on what may be specifically political associations such as state legislature, town councils, and political parties, but associations such as schools, banks, and religious institutions. So sociology is not just concerned with the large scale power dimension and power distribution, but with the small ones in small areas, like in schools, in banks, like how power is distributed in various institutions, in communities, in religious groups, how power is distributed. All this is, sociology focuses on all of this and not just the larger scale, because sociology, as we have studied, or I mentioned in the beginning class, that sociology is the study of society. Okay, society means all aspects of society, not just political or not just social or cultural, but everything. Okay, so here when we study power, we just not study about political power, but social, economic, okay, all sorts of power in all different kinds of institutions of the society. Thank you, and I'm sorry for going too fast, but I think we have to do it because we've already started our lessons quite late, and plus I don't post videos every day, so that I don't want to stress you all out. I want you all to read your text. Okay, when I send you a video, I want you all to read your text. So basically this much is left now. So it would be very nice and kind of you people if you all just read it by like 2 or 3 days and read the entire text, because I think we should have a test on these 3 chapters. Okay, please study well, and sorry I'm going too fast, but I'm also bounded by conditions. Bye bye.